Hello guys, it's me. Hi. Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about makeup tools. I have a request to make a video about brushes. So of course brushes are the makeup tools that we all using when we put our makeup on. And these are a few of mine. But the most important tools that we have to put our makeup on is these little fingers here that we have always with us. They're very useful to put your foundation on, your concealers, even your eyeshadows. You can put with a brush, you can put with your finger. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the type of brushes and how you use them, what you get them for, because there are a lot of brands that make brushes. I don't want to mention any brands here. I actually have a lot of brushes that are no name, and they do a very good job. The important things is to know when you buy a brush what you have to look for the purpose that that brush is used to. So I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible. If you find this topic interesting, please keep on watching. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention is the most important tool for makeup application is this. Use your hands, your fingers. You can use your fingers to apply your foundation, you can use your fingers to apply your concealer, your eyeshadows. You can use your fingers for everything, but don't forget to always wash your hands before you do your makeup application, because you have to have a clean tool before you put it on your face. And this goes for the brushes also. You can see I have a few brushes here that are dirty, but I use them, so that's why they're dirty. Then I'm going to use, if I want to use them again, I'm going to wash them, and then I'm going to use them again. Even for myself, especially if I do a client, I'm never going to use brushes that are dirty. But for yourself, you always have to you have to wash your brushes. And I'm not saying wash them every time after you use them, but at least once a week try to wash your brushes, because they collect bacteria in them, and then you basically going to put those bacteria on your face, which is not what you want, because that's how you get breakouts, especially on the face. So try to always keep your brushes clean. Before we get into the types of brushes, I want to tell you a little trick of how I wash my brushes. I use baby shampoo because that's quite gentle, and that's how I wash them. So you put a little baby shampoo in your hand, and then I just swirl the brush around, and then I rinse it very good, and then you let them to dry. And I normally put them actually on the towel rack, and I um, get them in place like that with a hair elastic, and then they dry like this down. The reason I'm saying this, and the important thing is not to put them, if after you wash them, don't put them like this in whatever you're holding them, because all the water is going to go here, and this is where the glue that sticks all the hairs together is. So if you do that, all the water is going to go here. In is not going to, a brush is not going to last as much as you want, because the hairs are going to start coming out because of the water that's going to, of course, damage the glue. So if you can't dry them like down, just set them down on a towel and let them dry like that, but never dry them like this up. And yeah, that's how I do it. Of course, there's cleaning products for brushes that you can buy, and they're specially made for, and you can buy them from the same places where you buy the brushes. Like I know Sigma has a little thing that you can buy, and you can you can clean your brushes with. Lots of producers that make brushes have products that they can help you clean your brushes. So let's go a bit into the types of brushes that we can use, and how and what they are made for, and what you need to look for. So of course, the first brush that we're going to use is for foundation. Again, you can apply your foundation by using your hands. You can apply your foundation by using a beauty blender or a beauty sponge, as you normally see me do when I do my makeup. I love that. But you have to bear in mind that the beauty sponge is going to collect a lot of your foundation, so it's going to absorb a lot of your foundation in it, so you might use more product than if you apply it with your hands, or if you apply it with a brush. A foundation brush should have some synthetic bristles, and these bristles are designed with a flat angle, designed to apply controlled amount of foundation on the skin. Normally they quite flat and in an angle, the foundation brushes, and that is going to help you distribute the foundation on the face nice and smooth. The second brush that you can buy, I think this foundation brush and this one, they're optional brushes, because as I said, you can use your fingers or you can use a beauty sponge, so it's optional. It depends how you prefer to apply your foundation and concealer. That's what I'm talking about. The second brush is the concealer brush. You can apply your concealer again with a beauty sponge, you can apply it with your fingers, or you can apply it with a brush. So the concealer brush should have firm parts of bristles that are not scratched. That is because you apply the concealer around your eyes, which we talked about in my previous video is a very sensitive area, so we don't want to scratch that. It should be nice, and the end of the concealer brush should be slightly tapered to gradually rounded point. This allows you to apply the concealer to hard to reach areas, like the inner corner of the eyes. The tapered shape also allows you to apply thick foundation on the areas around the nose. So of course you can use the concealer brush because it's nice and small and it's quite precise. You can use it around the nose, you can use it to conceal little spots on the face or little areas on the face. That's why it has that pointy, in a way, pointy shape. That's why it has, like, in a way, the pointy shape, because you can use it in like little small areas, which normally around the eyes it is anyways. Okay, the third brush, and I think this is quite useful for everybody to have in their makeup kit, is the powder brush. The powder brush should have natural bristles that are long, fluffy, and that bevel to a slight point. The shape helps deposit powder around the nose and under the eyes. The brush is designed to use with both pressed and loose face powders. For powder, you can also use a powder puff if you want. There are quite a lot of people who prefer using powder puffs instead of a brush, and that normally the compact powders come with a powder puff in them. Okay, as long as we are on the face, so we apply the foundation, we apply the concealer, we apply the powder to set everything in place, and now if we want, we can apply the bronzer, which means that we need a bronzer brush to do that. The bronzer brush is similar to the blush brush, but is thicker and fuller. Also, it has a flat profile rather than a curved one. Um, the shape is designed to sweep. The shape is designed for sweeping and pressing bronzing powder over the nose, forehead, chin, and cheeks. Another brush that I think should be in everybody's makeup kit is the blush brush. Because even if you don't apply bronzer, which not most of the people do, I do recommend, even for a natural makeup, for a daytime makeup, to apply a bit of blush. It just gives a healthy look to the skin, especially if you apply foundation. You even everything up. If you don't put a bit of blush on the skin, then you're going to look sickish. So that's why I think everybody should have blush in their kit, and of course a, a brush, and of course a brush to apply the blush with. Brush. So the blush brush should be wide enough to cover the upper portion of the cheek. Soft natural bristles deposit powder blush the best. The edges should be curved. Also, because I mentioned bronzer, for bronzer sometimes I like to use a fan brush. Actually, most of the times I like to use the fan brush because it's more precise and it doesn't pick up a lot of product, I think. So I like this better than the actual bronzer brush. So it depends what you prefer. Me personally, I like this. I like the fan brush better. Sometimes I use the fan brush even for the highlight, and I will use this little small one. The fan brush can fulfill the same function as a highlight or as a bronzer brush, but it depends on what you prefer. If you look at it and the shape of it seems a bit daunting to you, then by all means use the actual bronzer brush or the actual highlight brush. And let's talk about the highlight brush. The highlight brush can be made from either natural or synthetic bristles, as long as it feels comfortable gliding over the skin. The bristles are long and they are arranged in a slightly dome shape to help you deposit the highlight over the skin. Another brush that you can use is an eyebrow brush, and this is of course for filling out the eyebrows, as I mentioned. If you feel comfortable filling out the eyebrows, by all means please use this brush. If you don't do that. It's not a very easy thing to do, I have to admit. It requires a lot of patience because you have to go hair-like strokes, and it's quite a tedious job. Maybe you won't want to do it on a daily basis. Maybe you will want to learn to do it for a special occasion or something like that. But yeah, anyway, the brush should have short, stiff bristles that are cut in a diagonal. This brush is designed, as I mentioned, to apply shadow in the brow. A synthetic natural blend is best for the brow brushes. Also, there is a brush that is called a brow grooming brush, that you will use at the same time with the brow brush when you apply, even if you apply a pencil to fit in the brows, you will need to have this brush, or you can use a spoolie, but this brush, or you can use a spoolie, but again, it depends what you prefer. What I forgot to mention, guys, I think especially for the beginning. If you don't know your brushes, don't buy them online. Go into a store and try to buy your brushes in the store, because then when you go into a store, you can pick up the brushes, you can play with them a bit on your skin, see how it feels for you, see if you feel like you can work with it, see if you can hold it properly in your hand, because some of them might have quite thick, like they might have quite thick handles, and you might not be able to hold them properly in your hand. It's very important, because depending how you hold the brush in your hand, you might put a bit more product or less product on the face, or you might apply more pressure or not. The the eye makeup requires a lot of brushes, and I'm going to go through a few of them. Depending on the level of makeup that you do, you might need or want more or less brushes, um, but I always recommend, especially if you're beginning, to start with uh, one or two brushes and then add some more. And at the end of this video, I am going through a lot of brushes, all sorts of brushes, but at the end of this video I will give you my opinion of what I think should be in a beginner's makeup kit of brushes. So for the eye makeup, the first brush is the eye blender brush. This brush should be very soft and fluffy and made from natural bristles. The bristles are relatively long and are designed for blending eyeshadow and eliminating the lines between the different colors that have been applied on the eyelid and surrounding areas. Eye blender brush can also be used to apply powder for setting concealer. Another brush for the eye makeup is the eye contour brush. This brush is round and flat. Another one is the eyeshadow brush. This brush should be made from soft natural bristles and be wide enough to cover about half of the eyelid. Another brush for the eye makeup is the eye smudge brush. This brush has a small, compact head that comes to a slightly rounded point. The bristles should be soft and flexible but firm, as they are used to smudge eyeliner to create a smoky eye look. Of course, for the eye makeup, you can use eyeliner, and of course for the eyeliner, we know that there is pencil eyeliner. We know that there is pencil eyeliner, or you can use cream eyeliner, and for that you need a brush. There are quite a few types of brushes for the eyeliner. There's an angle eyeliner brush. This brush is small with very short, very dense bristles cut into a diagonal. And there is also the flat eyeliner brush, and this brush has dense flat synthetic bristles that come to a slightly rounded tip, and this can be used with wet or dry makeup to apply precise lines along the lash line. There is also the ultra fine eyeliner, and this is a brush that has very short, dense synthetic bristles that curve to a point. This is designed for applying gel or liquid liner. And of course, another brush that we use for the makeup is the lip brush. The lip brush can have natural synthetic bristles or a combination of the two. This brush should come into a slightly pointed tip that is designed for precise application of the lip color. I do prefer sometimes using a brush for the application of the lipstick, because it's much more precise. And that's about all the brushes. Of course, if you go on aside like Morphe or Sigma that sell a lot of brushes, you're going to find lots of different types of brushes, and maybe much more types than what I've said here. I think these are just a few that are kind of essentials, but as I mentioned earlier, I don't think, especially for a beginner kit, that you should have all of them in your makeup kit. The ones that I do recommend to have in your makeup kit are the powder brush, because as I mentioned in my previous videos, I think it's really important to powder the face. And then is the blush brush, and for the eyes, I think the one that you should have in your makeup kit is the blender brush, because with that one you can blend the colors in, but you can just put colors on also. I also think for the liner, I recommend, especially for a beginner, to get the angled brush for applying the liner, because if you want to do cat eye, sorry, that one is really going to help you apply and then apply the liner and then connect everything together. I think I showed you that in another video, but if you want me just to do a video with the cat eye, let me know. And to be honest, that's kind of all that I think brush wise for a starter makeup kit that you really need to have. Then of course, if you need to get into more details, you can get an eyebrow brush, you can get an eyebrow comb, you can get all sorts of brushes for applying the makeup on the eyes, the lid. Foundation brush you might need to, or concealer brush also, but what I recommend for you guys is, especially if you get a high-end foundation or high-end concealer, look on the way that they suggest that foundation and that concealer to be applied, because some of the companies, they will say to be applied with hands, or to be applied with the brush, or to be applied with the beauty blender. And I think you should follow what they say, because they made that product especially to be applied in that way. And if you try to apply it in a different way, you might not get the results that you wish to get, and then it won't be the product's fault. So always try to also read, if you use any product, try to read how they say you should use it. And I think that's about it for brushes, guys. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. As I said at the beginning, I tried to keep it as short, as sweet as possible. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye. Hello, aquí, plácate acolo. Plácate acolo, kucing.